to our podcast, The Ups and Downs of a Small Business Owner, where we hope to show you exactly what it's like to grow a business. Today, I'm here with Charlie Hun, fractional CFO, COO.
Yeah, we can use all the acronyms.
So what's the COO actually, just to start?
Chief Operating Officer.
And
So just like that's to highlight the operations element of what I do, rather than it just being finance focused. I think CFO probably implies some operational stuff anyway, but just to be really clear, it can be either or.
And does it always cross over?
I'm biased and think it does. I think the two absolutely always cross over. But I could and do work with businesses that already have a CFO or an FD. So I wouldn't necessarily be spending a load of time in the numbers. It would be more operational focused. So really that the slash is in there to be able to have some diversity in who I can work with.
Me being biased as well, I would say actually most finance departments need a full uplift and a full rework.
In operations.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
They've done it how they've done it for 40 years.
Yeah.
So why would they change?
Let's make a list.
Yeah, that's the frustrating bit that I have.
Yeah.
So how would you describe yourself?
Interesting. Professionally or personally? No.
Let's go personally.
No. So I'm someone who really enjoys completing stuff. I can touch on the detail, but I think it's about making change incrementally and consistently in business. So I like a lot of moving parts. I like problems to solve, and I'm very people orientated. So I think finance and operations sounds very numbers focused, very systems focused, which they both are and should be. But essentially, in any business, it's about the people and how they're going to drive it forward in any department. And I really enjoy working with the people in a business, not just sticking to zero, setting up new reporting, not just pulling in new systems and processes. It's about embedding that into the people and how they use that stuff.
I'd say that's probably the biggest challenge is the people change.
Huge.
You can put in all these softwares that you know will work perfectly fine together. It's getting people to
buy into that.
Yeah.
Huge.
And again, in the finance world, they tend to be very stuck in their ways and they don't like change. So
yeah, incumbent finance staff in any business that have been there a while or maybe been in finance a while like me the least, I would say, because I think it's unnerving when someone's saying, you don't have to spend 3 days doing that anymore. You could use this system and it will do it in 20 minutes for you. And they think that I'm there to, I don't know, remove them or make them redundant. It's not about that. It's about upskilling. It's like, actually, if you don't have to do all this transactional stuff anymore, you can do some strategy work. You can look at bigger improvements. You can work with marketing on how they're doing this. You can support with other stuff. So it's convincing people they need the change and that it's not going to make them redundant or useless, but also then getting them to stick with that. Like embedding change, stepping away, and it so rarely stays at the level that you set it up as. It's really tough.
I'd say one of the biggest challenges I have when I try and do this is when I say about paper.
Yeah.
You can go completely paperless and the faces that you get is like, absolutely not. I print off the bank statement and I tick against it. And I print off the invoice and I make sure it's there. Don't need to do any of that.
Absolutely not.
So let's go back.
Okay.
Where do we start? When did you get into finance?
I got into finance when I was 19, 20. So I did my A-levels and I went to work in banking, retail banking, in branches. Great experience in terms of navigating the world of people, working with the general public, also working with lots of different roles within banking, from mortgage advisors through to financial advisors. Really learned quite a lot about stuff that I feel I should have been taught at school that I wasn't, the useful finance stuff. And I think I naturally started to enjoy it. It was 2008. The credit crunch happened here in the UK and banking became awful. It was a horrible place to work. There were obviously so many restrictions on what you were doing, even just how customers were treating you in branch. Obviously, everything was coming out about bankers' bonuses, did not apply to an 18-year-old in branch, but that's irrelevant. The press took over, people were pulling all of their money out, people's houses were being repossessed. It just wasn't a nice sector to work in, I didn't feel. And because the numbers side of it was probably the part I enjoyed the most, I started looking at what else was out there and how I could maybe start to focus on a career more sort of finance focused. And I again went to work for a big corporate, worked in the billing department, purchase ledger, management accounts, like really old school siloed business, but big clunky corporate. And that was great. I was doing my AAT, studying. Fantastic practical qualification for anyone wondering about getting into finance. I then went into small business. I became a finance manager of a business of about 150 heads. And I was like, I've arrived. I've found what I like. It was no longer just working in finance. It was a food manufacturing environment. I was speaking to the factory manager. I was speaking to like the food testing team. It was all relevant. Everything fed back into finance. I saw the connection between what a small business does and how finance impacts absolutely everything and how absolutely everything impacts finance. And I've never looked back. I've just stayed in small business ever since.
Let's go back to being 18. Let's go back a couple of years, 16.
Right, okay.
Was it the dream to get into finance?
Oh, absolutely. Every day. No, I'd never. I think I was thinking about this because I know you asked this question. I was thinking if someone had asked me at 16, what would I be doing when I was 36? I don't think there's any way I'd have said working in finance. So I don't know what the dream was at that point. I did A levels, I did like English, media studies, PE. So like nothing number focused, not even tech, like nothing techie either, not even business. So I really didn't know. I enjoyed those subjects at school, so I thought I'll do them at A level, and maybe that's the theme. I find something I enjoy doing, and then I double down and stick with that. And I think that's what slowly led me into finance. Maybe a careers counsellor at college said to look at banking, working in banks, because obviously there's so many teams and departments from branches through to like head office roles in HR. So maybe that's a good place to send anybody.
And I guess at the time, banks, there's a lot of money in
They
banks.
would fly. I don't think it would be a bad place to work now. I think it's been cleaned up a lot. I think it's a much safer sector to be in. I think there's tighter restriction and controls in terms of how they're behaving. So I think it's probably, again, a good sector to work in now. Yeah, finance was not the dream, but it's turned out to be a bit of a dream. So it's been good.
Worked.
It has worked, yeah, definitely.
Has there been anyone like important role model throughout your life that's got you there?
Definitely. One would be my dad. So my dad ran his own company, and that was, a pivotal part of my life. That was what I was witnessing. Someone working for themselves, in control of their own destiny as such. He's also always been great with advice and input in terms of what I would be looking to do. He's a very commercially minded man, and I think maybe I inherited some of that or just witnessed some of that. So definitely him. And then I've worked with some people along the way as well that were really great. The food manufacturing company I worked for, there was a HR manager, Dean, I can say her name. She was amazing. And she was like my first example of a really career-centric woman in a senior role. She'd worked in London for some big companies. She'd moved back to Bristol. And she gave me so many good nuggets that I've just kept. I think one day I'd made a mistake on something and I was really sort of panicked. I told the finance director that I was working for that I'd made a mistake. Obviously, I now know everything is fixable, so I feel very differently about making mistakes or people I work with making mistakes. But I think I'd shook the finance director a bit, and I went to speak to her about it just as like a confidant, problem share. And she just said, "Is it going to matter in 5 years?" And I immediately said, "No." She was like, "Will it matter in 5 days?" I said, "No." She was like, "Then it's not a problem." She was like, "Just use that." And she just gave me lots of little bits like that I found really empowering, how to stay calm, how to make good decisions. Yeah, she was amazing. I think so. I think about stuff she told me a lot. I think, yeah, those little nuggets of wisdom that she gave me. I do, yeah, I think about that quite a lot. I've been fortunate. I've worked for some really great business owners who, once you've built up that trust, you know, working as a finance director, ops director, them sharing their journey, what they've done, how they've navigated things, just witnessing their behavior. I think, yeah, I've gained a lot from the proximity of the people I've worked for, definitely.
You say you've worked for quite a few people. When did you decide to work for yourself, or to kind of take that big step?
2 years ago that I started working for myself. So it's still relatively fresh. But in between stepping into the world of being like a finance manager in small business, I worked for a marketing agency for about 7 years. So I was there for a really long time as their finance director. Worked really closely with the three business owners. I then did quick succession a few roles in a few years and gained more experience both in marketing and then in the world of small business and scaling startups. So in doing that, I felt, oh, hang on, there's a niche here. There's something where there's companies that need a me, but maybe not all day, every day, or something like what I offer, so something in and around that, depending on what they're looking for, where they are in their growth journey. And I get the variety and they get the experience. So it feels like a really good trade-off for both.
I don't think small business doesn't need a full time
Absolutely
CFO
not.
or a COO. Like, they
No,
don't need that,
no.
and it's extremely expensive if they did.
Absolutely, and same with like even I'm sure you come across it. Don't maybe even need a finance manager.
No,
You probably just need some really solid business administration support or like operational support. Great,
yeah,
and then you can outsource and get external support.
yeah, exactly that. And I think that's where the world is going now. It's almost, you can have these solopreneurs or people that are at the top on their own with a fractional team around them, and as long as they're getting the right advice and they've got a team that they can work well with, they can go and move mountains, or however you want to kind of put it.
Absolutely, I think there was probably a point where businesses had like almost like a headcount tick list. So like once we get to this side, we need a this. Once we get to this size, we need a this. Whether it be a marketing director, finance director, product manager, depending on the sector. I don't think that exists anymore.
Funny you say that. We've worked with a company, I can think of one off the top of my head, who every year in their budget, they're employing a CFO. So we're like, okay, are we redundant at that point? They've done that for 4 years,
Great.
and they still haven't got that CFO. It's budgeted in every year, like, yeah, we're going to need
Yeah.
one, we're going to need to move away, we're going to need that,
Yeah.
and they still never got there.
Yeah.
So I think that's a prime example. Like, actually, when you dig down into it, you don't necessarily need that.
I totally agree. And I think I've seen that a lot with like scenario planning in businesses. So like when they're forecasting and they're like, right, we want to do 3 different scenarios. If sales hit this, then we're going to need all of this headcount. And you're like, but will you? I truly don't think you can know what you need until you're there.
Yeah.
And I think planning is great and great that it's on their budget every year to have the CFO. But until you're there, you can't know what you're going to need. Like the scalability of a business can vary so wildly. It might mean that actually absolutely everything you already have serves you brilliantly, even if your revenue's grown by 15%. Doesn't mean that your headcount has to, doesn't mean you've got to get a bigger office, doesn't mean your benefits have to. Just tech subscriptions don't need to grow. They might, but you don't need to do that. I think one scenario should always be revenue grows and everything stays the same, just in case.
What happens if it does? Yeah. Just
Great.
all hits the bottom line.
Yeah.
I guess in that, I don't want to go into it too much, but AI also impacts,
Hugely.
the fact that AI is out, the fact that tech is there, like, you can almost just become more efficient month on month, like day on day at the moment. But
Yeah.
the way that the world's turning is like, AI is bringing out incredible things. I really struggle with it at the moment. It's a bit of a buzzword. There's a lot of softwares that say AI this, AI that, and you kind of dig into it, and they've got a glorified spreadsheet that automates and does calculations, and you're like, okay,
It's not AI.
that's not AI.
No, it's a template.
Yeah,
it's a really good template.
That's a calculator. But there is incredible things also coming that is causing efficiencies and making that, which means that suddenly certain parts of roles, I don't think will be needed.
Agreed. Yeah. Are you an AI fan?
Massively.
Great.
So absolutely love AI.
Not terrified of it. Don't think it's going to make everything change for the worst.
I think it's a scary thing.
Okay.
I think AI is going to put a lot of people out of jobs.
Right.
The reality is everyone talks about our sector, accountancy.
Yeah.
And absolutely, I think a lot of accountants are going to be made redundant. I think they're going to lose their jobs.
Okay.
I don't want to be all doom and gloom.
No, this is interesting.
The way that they work, like we've already said, if you go to a normal finance department, they work like robots. They do the data entry, and that's what they've done for 20 years. Well, even just using automation software, you can replace them. AI is going to replace that next step up as well. So if we can get to a point, and we're doing it in theory, we're not quite practical yet, but in theory we have documents come in, they get scanned by Dex or HubDoc or whatever you want to do. It goes on to Xero. We then have it automatically matching, and we have a bot that is a bookkeeper, and it's currently doing about 40% of bookkeeping.
Wow.
So that goes match, tick, done. And then anything that's remaining, we try and create a bank rule for.
Okay.
And it goes, right, there's a bank rule, tick, done.
Yeah.
In theory, and you have your accounts to a degree without the calls and prepayments and some other voodoo stuff, which is what a lot of the clients say, like, accountants just do all this voodoo stuff, move stuff around, and it looks good. But without that, like, we are, in theory, completely AI to that point.
Okay.
The reality is, owners don't find them receipts. They don't put them on the system. It's not always there. It's not always as clean as, tick, tick, done.
The variance analysis still needs to be done, right? Stuff might need to be moved on the P&L, might have been posted incorrectly. Those bits still exist.
So it needs somebody that can do that bit, but we don't need data entries and all of that. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of accountants as well producing end-of-year accounts.
Yeah.
It is almost robotic. If you look at almost every firm across the country, they're outsourcing to India, they're outsourcing to South Africa, wherever they're outsourcing to.
Yeah.
If you're outsourcing, you're giving it to somebody who could be an AI, could be a robot, because they don't have any experience.
They don't have the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still able to produce accounts. So if you're going to take AI, they can replace all of them almost overnight. Again, AI is not there yet. If it gets to that point where it can produce a set of accounts, it replaces all of them overnight.
Yeah.
What I'm also seeing in the industry is private equity is coming in and buying almost every accounting practice going.
Right, okay.
Why are they doing that? To make money. Shareholders to make more money.
Yeah.
So they can see, as soon as AI becomes a thing, they switch it on. What's the biggest cost in any business? People. Biggest cost in any accountancy business is purely service driven. If you can replace all of them people with the tech, you're talking about making billions overnight. And that's where I see it going. The reality is, hopefully most accountants are aware of it and kind of going, right, how can I change my role? How can I make myself more valuable? What can I do?
It's the value piece that matters.
It's the storytelling. It's the bit that you're doing, the bit that I'm doing. Like, we're already doing that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know how many accountants there are out there. 10,000, let's say, for argument's sake. Yeah. 10,000 accountants are already in that area thinking like that. And I would say,
hopefully,
in an ideal world, yes, but I think they're not. And then you've got the same in other sectors like legal and stuff like that. So when this all gets switched on, I think it's going to be chaos.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's great, and I think I'm fully on board with AI. Efficiency is what it's going to do, how it's going to help. Yeah. But it's a very scary thing, in my opinion.
It's really sector specific. I think I hadn't thought about it like for accountancy as a sector. I think like a lot of like press coverage is around the legal sector, because obviously of like ChatGPT, it's like basically removing all of the written work that paralegals are having to do, or had to do. But you're absolutely right, it is very similar in accounting. I think maybe I'm just like too optimistic. I just think it's removing the worst parts. Like when I think about my career journey, the bits it's already, and it's not, the word AI, I think, is being used when it's, like you said, incorrectly. It's not artificial intelligence. Dext is not artificial intelligence. LaRue is not artificial intelligence. These are just good systems to add to your tech stack. End of. And they've existed for several years. They're not new. They are improving, getting better all the time. Yeah, they're adding features continuously, which just makes them better to work with. But they were around before AI was being used in the way that it is now, or the terminology was being used. So I'm not that fearful. I feel like it's going to remove the worst parts of the role, and then you get to do the good bits. But you're right, let's say 10,000 accountants, 8,000 probably aren't offering the one-to-one sessions, the strategy piece. What are you doing with the bit? Like AI is never going to be able to sit down with a business owner and say, right, you want to sell in 6 years. Where are we at? What is the value of the business currently? How do we work towards maximizing that value over the next 6 years? Is there anything we can look to acquire? Is there anything we can build out? What are your current revenue streams? How do I diversify or strengthen those? Do you need to specify? Like, they're not going to be able to have those conversations. It never will.
I challenge you a little bit, and
Okay.
I think this is probably just the wording, but
Yeah.
I think it will be able to say, build a strategy plan, and it will be able to ask the right question.
Sure.
What it won't do is that human bit, that sitting face to face.
Yeah, okay.
When you look someone in the eye and they go, right, we're going to make 10 million. You go, are you okay?
You sure?
And
Yeah.
challenging it.
Okay.
And that's the bit.
Yeah. How many of your clients, sorry, I'm interviewing you now. How many of your clients do you think use you as a sounding board?
All of them.
Yeah. AI is not a sounding board.
No.
And it never will be.
And it's looking at them in the eye and going, are you sleeping? Yeah.
Are you prioritising things here?
Are you okay? Like, what's going on in your life? Forget the numbers. Like, okay, you owe different people money. Just sort it. Let's come up with a plan. Let's get you to a mindset where you can actually focus rather than
absolutely
that bit. And that's the bit I completely agree.
It will never happen. No.
The in-person, that face-to-face, that reading somebody's body language and being able to be emotive and stuff like that. You don't get that with an AI.
Ever.
You're never going to get a hug. You might, but it won't be the same.
Weird. Really weird. Don't hug robots. I think, so for me then, what we're saying is it's going to make people in any sector, but let's be specific in accountancy, it's going to make accountants have to give a shit about their clients in a way that I think they already should. Make everything else more efficient. Great, sign me up. Let's do it.
I'm fully with you on that. But how many accountants out there are able to have a face-to-face conversation?
Very true. Like, let's list out the great accountant jokes about not being able to make eye contact.
There's a reason there's stereotypical accountants.
Yeah, this is so true.
That's my point.
Yeah.
When you start scaling that out, I'd say there's a reason a stereotypical accountant is like that, and we are different.
Yeah, okay.
And what's scary is the stereotypical is the majority.
Yes. Yeah, that is true. And that says something about the way the sector has enabled that and encouraged that. Big audit, we spoke earlier or touched on earlier about the Big Four. I think, the whole audit teams that, what, good Lord, can you imagine anything worse than doing an audit for a £50 million business and what they have to go through and look at? And it's so formulaic, and there's no way that can be as fulfilling as, like, I don't believe, as working with business owners to like make good decisions. It has to exist. The rules are in place. Those rules aren't going to go anywhere. They might even get tighter. But if their job could be done by AI.
I completely agree. If we also flip this, you said the jobs that you don't enjoy doing, data entry, that stuff.
Yeah.
What was your entry-level job?
Data entry. I really struggled.
How are
going to learn?
Kids coming straight out of college,
That's
These
true.
entry-level jobs are going because also you've got national insurance has gone up, minimum wages are going up. Costs of employing an entry-level person is, I was looking at a document the other day, it was like 25 grand roughly minimum wage,
Yeah.
average salary, plus their NI, plus their benefits, plus the recruitment fee.
Yeah.
You're looking at close to 35 grand to employ a minimum wage entry-level person who has no experience at all, doesn't even know if they want to do this long term.
That's quite a significant investment, isn't it? Especially if you think of the size of the business that you and I work with. That's a significant investment in somebody. Yeah, or AI. Or train, yeah. Yeah. So then maybe it's changing though. And I think we've discussed this, we're similar. Maybe it's not about double entry and learning double entry bookkeeping, as fun as that was. Maybe it is about learning what systems are out there. And actually, once a business hits this size, these are what you should be probably using for accounts receivable. You should be looking at how Stripe has revenue recognition and how you can use that bolt on to. But would I understand those systems if I didn't do the double entry bookkeeping? Probably not.
No, but then you'd go to an expert that does. So I like to use like a car.
Okay.
You understand your car needs 4 tyres. It
Yep.
needs everything to work. Would you know how to fix any of it?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't know how to change a bulb.
And yet
So
you still get in your car and you still take it for a drive and
yeah.
it still works and it does everything you want. And when you go to buy a car, you know which one you want because in your head, that's the one that's perfect.
Yeah.
So in the same way, you just go to an accountancy or somebody who knows the numbers and can deal with that stuff. It's scary that where the entry point is, and I think there's a lot of kids coming through college, uni, whatever, are going to struggle to find their entry-level jobs.
Yeah, they are.
They're not there.
It's interesting. So one of my clients is in the construction recruitment space. So I absorb bits of information around the construction industry. And I think there's a huge skills gap. And obviously, over the last 5, maybe more years, kids want to be content creators. They want to be video editors. They want to be sound technicians. They are moving away. Like, why would anyone want to go and work on site or learn a trade where you're probably going to have to work 10 hours a day in all sorts of weather, especially here in the UK, when you could work remotely or from home 3 days a week? Like, that skill gap is now changing though, and we're seeing people going back into trades because they're well paid, because they're secure, because the sector's growing again. And I think maybe it's just cyclical. Maybe that will just happen in each sector and space.
I completely agree with you. This sector will start to dwindle.
Yeah.
But AI isn't replacing a
builder. Oh yeah. This is true. Although yeah, maybe I suppose investing in the replacement of labour is much more expensive. It's machinery. It's maybe.
Yeah, that's my kind of view on AI at the moment.
Great.
Give it a month, it'll probably change that.
Okay, cool. I'll check back in.
Yeah. So I'm fully on board with it. I think it's an incredible opportunity. I think it's great. I think it works for me and you.
Yeah.
What my big thing at the moment is those who haven't thought about it and
aren't planning for it.
They need to be aware because, a year, 2 years, whenever it does come, it's going to cause chaos, in my opinion. We'll see. Hopefully I'm not right. Hopefully I'm completely wrong.
I think there's probably truth in what you're saying. I think what we cannot predict because I couldn't have predicted this 3 years ago.
Right, so let's come back. I normally try and do AI towards the end because it can go on forever. So you said you set up 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How did you know, or what made you kind of go out on your own? What was your driver?
So ahead of working for myself or setting up on my own, I'd worked as head of operations for a recruitment agency, and that encompassed finance as well, obviously. And I was there about 18 months. It was a really interesting role, super varied, kind of a newish sector to me. Lots to work on, lots to fix, lots to do. When I first started, I had right, these are all the things we want to get right in the business over the next 2 years. And you start sort of working through them. And then once you've set up Pleo and accounts payable is running smoothly, once you've redesigned the P&L so it's split by the two departments, the two revenue streams in the business, and you've got the quarterly board pack set up, once you've hit all those milestones, once you've hired into the team, set up new CRM, whatever it is, it doesn't need to be done again. And it's, especially in small business, it doesn't need to be, unless a business is scaling at such a rapid pace, there isn't going to be continual need for me full time, is how I started to feel. And prior to that role, I had worked as a FinOps manager, like finance operations manager. It's not consulting, but similar to consultancy. So I worked with clients directly, and I just felt like I could work with clients directly, make the changes. People don't. There's a requirement for something like me, but not permanently or full time in a business. And I figured, give it a go. Like, just try it. Start reaching out. I was ready to move on, so I was looking at new roles, and I thought, just reach out and see. And I contacted a couple of companies that were looking for either operations or finance, and just said, do you fancy maybe just working with me 3 days a week or 2 days a week, and we can see how that goes. List out the kind of things that you're looking to achieve over the next year, the bits you want to improve within the business. And I was fortunate enough that, a couple of companies took me up on the offer, and it grew from that. So I do contract through a company in London as well, Rora. So they work with loads of scaling startups, more scale ups actually than startups. They're bigger. I'm probably more startup size, but I do work with scale ups as well. And it's been great. I was going to specialize. I was going to go marketing. I was going to stick with marketing agencies because that's the bulk of my experience as a finance and operations director. When you work for yourself, you just immediately start saying yes because of the fear of saying no and not having money.
Yeah, on that note then, the fear. When you are going on your own, were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you anxious?
No, not at all. And I've had this conversation with a couple of people. So I've got a very close friend who started working for himself about a year before. Him and I talk a lot about work. We worked together previously. I've learned a lot from him. And watching him do it, I was like, okay, he looked so much happier. He was in a much better place working for himself than he was employed. It just felt like this is something I think I want to try. Absolute worst case scenario, I will look for another job. Like, if this doesn't work, I can go back into employment. I have enough experience. I've worked in businesses where I've had to make people redundant, let people go. I have friends that work in the NHS that are having to currently re-interview for their own roles. You are never truly safe anywhere, I don't believe. So I feel more safe because I'm in control of more of what I do. I can say no. I don't always, but I do sometimes, and I can. And I can set those boundaries and parameters for myself that I couldn't if I worked for somebody.
So you were always, I guess, seeing somebody close to you that did it gave you that confidence.
Definitely, yeah.
So I guess this question is kind of off topic, but I'm going to go with it anyway. So
Great.
how important is it knowing your numbers? I guess also in that point, you're leaving your job, full-time employment, however you want to kind of look at it, safe.
Sure.
I know you've just said it's not, but then going, right, how long have I got?
Yeah, so I stopped working for the company on the Friday and I started with the client on the Monday. So I'd line that up. Yeah, I'd line that up. I didn't take time off. I wasn't going to take the risk of not working. I had like quite a long notice period with that employer. So I was already looking and lining up work.
So did you say something like, I'm quitting like a few months before or whatever without that? Or was it always like
that? No, I did. I handed my notice in.
So you weren't nervous at that point?
No, I was just ready for the change, I think, and the challenge of it. I think I just felt like, I had a couple of months of money saved up. So I was like, right, I've got my notice and some money. So and we're not talking, lots at all, like enough that it would be okay. Buy myself some time. And I just felt like worst case scenario, I will find a job. Like, I will have to. So I think I just took that approach. Now that you say it, it's actually giving me secondhand anxiety. Like maybe I just didn't think it through like that. I felt ready for the challenge. I felt like I had something to offer. I've always felt like what I do is a nice trade-off and gives businesses an opportunity to have expertise they wouldn't otherwise be able to afford. Yeah, I don't know. I was ready for the change and the challenge. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Kind of mentioned you do a podcast as well. Maybe those at the top, Stephen Bartlett, probably
Yeah, of
makes enough
course.
money off the podcast, but the
Yeah,
reality is
sure.
most don't.
Even like the comedians that are doing the ones that are in the top 10, they're not making enough to not have to tour anymore. They probably do all right. I think it probably covers the mortgage, but then it's not livable. So that's with a guy I used to work with, John Payne. He owned an agency called Noisy Little Monkey, marketing agency. He's a madman. He's also one of my closest friends and he's delightful. He started working for himself not long after I did. He sold the business. He now works as a consultant. We just have fun and talk nonsense together. It's under the guise of a business podcast. It's absolutely not. It's absolutely not.
It's just a couple of friends chatting.
It honestly is. And it's our equivalent of like we hire a room and play guitar and the drums together. Sometimes our mates watch, but like that's how I look at it.
Which one do you play?
No. I'm saying that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it's my equivalent of.
So let's go back to your kind of career journey then. What's been your biggest failure?
That's really interesting. I don't know if it's a failure, but it's something I didn't follow through with. Maybe would have added something different to my career. So I did my AAT and that's a really good practical qualification. And actually, when I was doing it, it went from paper based to all computer based. And that's the closest thing I've done in terms of a qualification to what accounting now in Xero and using software is actually like. I would say it. So I was really pleased I did that. It felt super practical. I then explored doing SEMA and started because I was exempt from the first couple of years because I was AAT qualified and I didn't follow through with it. So I think I was already working as a finance director at the time and I was doing it to bolster my kudos as a finance director. I'm chartered. I thought that would be really important. And it is important. I'm not saying, but I don't know how necessary it is anymore, especially based on everything you and I have just said. You're probably better off becoming like a massive tech stack geek in the finance world.
I will say I completely agree with everything you just said. I've done the AAT.
Yeah.
We're an AAT practice.
Cool.
I started SEMA and dropped out after the second exam.
That's exactly what I did.
Pretty much exactly where you've been.
Yeah, that is exact. I think it was international tax and amortization. And I thought, I will never need these things. I'm already a finance director in business. I will never need these things. And I didn't follow through with it. I did decide to do a business master's because I don't have a degree. I qualified by experience and having the AAT as well. And I did that in my spare time over the course of a couple of years. And to be honest, that was just a really interesting thing to study. It wasn't like, I don't know that that's added any major value to who I am or what I offer as a professional, but I did enjoy the studying and doing that. That was good. But yeah, maybe not doing SEMA. But if you didn't either, then I feel like that's not even a shit answer, sorry.
There you go, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so you're not chartered?
No.
Great, okay. More of that, I think.
Only people that care are other accountants.
Yeah, it's gross, isn't it?
No one has ever asked a question other than, we looked to acquire another accountant's practice, and they were like, no, you're not chartered. Okay. We're currently bigger than you. We've currently got, like, your biggest client is smaller than most of our clients, but because I'm not chartered, I can't do it. Fine.
You just have someone else who signs stuff off, right, for stat returns. I didn't know that. I think you had to be chartered to sign them all up. This is a well-kept secret.
So, yeah, if you can have a practice through AAT.
Great.
The only thing you can't do is audit.
Who on earth wants to?
Exactly.
I work with loads of practices that don't do audit. It's really specialised and its business is a huge business.
I don't enjoy audit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the only thing we can't do.
Interesting. That's great.
So yeah, a difference to us.
I've never met anyone who's did the same thing, did AAT and then stopped at SEMA.
Yeah.
It was so boring.
Exactly that. And also I kind of look like another 3 years of my life. Full respect to everyone who's done it. Like the dedication, the time, the effort.
It's serious. That's serious studying.
And I get that they'd be annoyed at me if I'm level. They won't see it like that, but level with them, and I've not done it.
I see it like that, but then maybe I'm biased.
Yeah.
Where were you? What role were you doing when you dropped out? Where were you working? You're a bookkeeper, and you're just like, absolutely not.
So I was bookkeeper, and it was setting up this company at the time.
Okay.
And I was like, I just can't bring myself to do it. Like, enjoy my weekends again. Like, I spent 3 years studying.
Yeah. I don't want to do another 3.
And the way I see it is that qualification gets you the job interview. It doesn't
teach you, and it's like a driving test.
Yeah.
It's like learning to drive. Okay, it is different because it does take years of studying, and like we said, I'm not being negative to anybody that's done it. Absolute hats off to you. That is not an easy thing to achieve. ACCA, CIMA, whatever you've done. Whether it's essential anymore is up for debate, definitely.
I'd question how much you use on a day-to-day.
Well, that's why I reference international tax and amortization, because I remember doing it and thinking, I'm already a finance director for a company. I've not come up, and I've worked in other companies. This wasn't like it was my first job or my first business. I've never had to do this. And I was like, you use external accounting firms if you need to and if it's international tax, you want a specialist. You don't want me.
No.
But I suppose that's how you learn you might want to specialise, because you do that in your CIMA. Maybe then that leads you on to want to become an international taxation specialist. Fair. I was never going to do that.
He's got a small company. He deals with mostly Milton Keynes.
Yeah, okay. There's no international tax in Milton Keynes.
Tax is not an issue at all. Though she understands accounting to a degree, she's so specialist that she doesn't need to know about bookkeeping or payroll or management accounts or small business.
It's almost not specialised enough, is it? The chartered accounting qualifications are huge. And you probably wouldn't do that in many other sectors. Like in law, you do your barrister exams. You would specialise in corporate or criminal. Accounting's so
you
broad.
can do it all. Yeah, under this.
And that shows that you've passed the exams, like you say, you get the job interview.
Yeah.
That those next couple of years are going to be pretty brutal, right? In learning.
Exactly that. So let's flip that. What's been your biggest success?
I want to say working for myself, but it still feels so fresh. Not that I believe in jinxing it, but it's still a real journey. The first 6 months really built. That next year flew. I worked with loads of cool businesses, loads of great clients, learned what my parameters were, what my boundaries were in terms of at one point, I think I had 6 clients at once, which is really intense because I do care. So I really get involved with clients, learn the business, spend time with them, integrate, work with the team. Working with 6 was a lot. I felt stretched, but it's still fantastic. Yeah, it's still really good. It's fluctuated in all honesty, and that's been great to navigate and learn how to handle and deal with that as well. But yeah, that does feel like a big success, stepping out and just being able to work for myself and having that control. Really early on in my career, when I became a finance director, that felt like a huge success. I was young, I was 26. I was working for business owners. I'd gone finance manager, financial controller. The owners were overseas. I'd really managed to build this trust with them. I could run their business in Bristol. They made me a director. I worked with them, acquiring another bit or merging with another business. I really felt part of them and the dynamic of running their business. And looking back at that, I think that was my biggest success, genuinely, because that gave me the confidence to carry on and do what I've done since. And the amount I learned from working with them as people dynamics, but also in terms of finance, technicality, operations, whatever within the business. I think that's my biggest success, definitely.
And how did you celebrate it?
I don't think I did. I don't think I did in any way. No. I think I've got, maybe even in vocalising back to you, working for myself, oh no, I don't think I do. I think it's only in hindsight I go, oh, that's gone quite well. I just like to keep going. And not in a workaholic sense at all. I am not a workaholic, let me be clear. I've heard people on podcasts where they talk about how much they work, and I think, no, absolute never. No, not at all. Sure, I'll pick up emails out of hours. I'm not an animal. But I need to shut my laptop at the weekends and chill out. I'm not a workaholic, but I do think there's a sense of like, just keep going. If it's going well, we don't need to like pop champagne, just need to keep going, keep it good, consistent.
I say that, I don't know if it's a problem or not, but that's the biggest thing we do is that we're like, yeah, that's my biggest success. I've achieved so much. On to the next thing. Like, we don't even look at it or think about it.
Is that a British thing, do you reckon?
I don't know. Maybe.
Culturally, we are quite repressed.
Yeah, I mean, we're miserable.
Speak for yourself.
It's stereotypical British person. Yeah. The worst thing is like, I sometimes go into London and I did a challenge. I was like, well, I'm going to smile at someone.
Not in London. Why bother?
I couldn't get eye contact, let alone smile. Everybody's walking along, phone in hand, and like, I'm like looking around, like I'm the only one with my head up.
Yeah, that's mad, isn't it?
You see like these memes and these cartoons of like everybody's down.
Spot on.
And it literally is like, it's crazy. Like,
yeah.
Next time you go on the train,
I might do that. I go there once a month for training, so I will do that. I'm going to do it.
Just look around, see if you can smile. I tried to smile at someone to make them smile, because smiling is contagious.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just smile at someone and just see what their reaction is.
Great.
Because I didn't get a single one.
I'm going to let you know. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to let you know what happens.
And we'll come back on that one. Yeah. But yeah, exactly that. Like, you know, celebrating is tough, and you don't really ever do it.
No.
But yeah, that is pretty huge. You finance director, merging, and all of that stuff going on, and you probably just carried on.
Yeah. It just felt like work. It's a bit depressing, actually. I might celebrate it later. When I was 26, 10 years ago. Yeah, okay, I might do that.
So I guess this is tough, and also, like you said, like you had 6 clients at one point. Have you ever thought it's not going to work?
Not yet.
At no point it's
not yet.
This is tough.
No, not yet.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
We're early, aren't we? It's 2 years. That's not long. It's working so far.
But I'd also say 2 years is long enough. Like, if I had doubts or anything.
If it was starting to feel untenable now, I think I would know. It just makes sense, right? Like, I will never be a practice. That I always thought I'd build it out as a business, not as a practice, but maybe as like an operations agency or something, because it was so ingrained in my mind I've only worked in businesses that wanted to scale. So I'm there going, how do we scale this? How do we make this formulaic? How do we embed whatever so we can rinse, repeat, more. And I thought, that's what I'll do. As soon as I was like, how do I? And then I was like, I could get some freelancers to do this work. I could set stuff up so it's more templated approach to improving business. So any company could come to me and I'd say, I'll take you from here to here. I'll do this. And then I just realized that's mad. Like, it's fine. People don't need to buy something from a business. They can just buy me and what I have to offer. That's fine. That in itself is sellable, much easier. So there's no like team behind me. It is literally my time that you get in, that a business gets. Yeah. And that's fine. And that does mean not all clients will work. I won't fit with every business, because some of that's just going to be personality based. But it does mean the ones that are really right, and I have a really good relationship with. And I think the clients I've worked with, either short term, long term, that I feel most proud of having worked with, are where I've had the strongest bond with the business owner, where they can call me and say, I'm actually really stressed about this and I don't know how we're going to handle it, and I need to speak to the senior team tomorrow, but can we talk about it first? And it's that, in those moments, I think I'm doing the right thing here. This works. If they need me, this is working. Yeah.
I mean, you've seen it. Like, staff is probably one of the biggest problems in most businesses, and you kind of, I've seen a lot of people scale, and they still earn just as much when they're at the top as they did when they were on that band. They're working twice the amount of hours. They've got twice the amount of headaches. They've got everything going on, and actually, if they just stayed where they were, they'd be in exactly the same financial position.
Yeah, and that's so John, who I do the podcast with, I think I started talking to him about it, saying, I'm going to look at using a freelancer for a couple of bits, and then maybe this, maybe that. And he was like, mate, I started off as a SEO, like marketing consultant, and he grew an agency and sold it. And he was like, I'm now working as a consultant again in sales and marketing. And he was like, you don't need to do that. You don't. He was like, why have you, like, what do you get? And I, you know, I can work flexibly. Obviously I sell my time, so it's days per month that clients get. So, but in and around that, my time is my own. I can work from pretty much wherever based on what I've agreed with clients. I couldn't do that if I was building it as a business. You've got to be there. You've got staff to be responsible for. I do miss that a bit though. Like I was always a big part of helping manage the team in a business. And I have that somewhat with one of my clients, which is amazing. I love them. I feel really connected to the team that I work with. But the other clients I don't. That's just not feasible to do that in the same way. And so I do miss running a team. Like that is fun. It's chaotic. It's the most challenging, but it's also the most rewarding.
Yeah.
When your team around you have had a great week, going home on a Friday feels incredible.
Almost going back to that smile is contagious. Like if your team are happy, it just rubs off, and it's like, this is great. This is just all going perfect.
Absolutely. So there's the thing they say about parents. I'm not a parent, but I can picture this because I'm one of 4 kids. You're only as happy as your most unhappy child. Deep, I know. I think it's the same as an employer. I think you're only as happy as your most unhappy employee. And if there's someone in the business who isn't happy, who is struggling, that, if you give a shit and you have EQ, becomes your problem. And you can really feel that. But that being said, when the room's good, when everything's going well, so rewarding.
Yeah, game changing.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned it, so your work and personal life, like, how do you separate the two?
Really easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I've always love what I do for a job, and I've been really lucky that I've always really pretty much enjoyed what I do. Odd job that's been tough, challenging, struggled, whatever. But on the whole, I like my job. So I don't feel the need to be barbaric 5 o'clock, close my laptop, don't talk to me. I am flexible. And because of that, I think I just have found a natural balance. Yeah, I find it relatively easy to switch off, but I don't feel a hunger to have to because I enjoy what I do. And I think sometimes the best ideas for work or solutions to problems at work come to you at 9 a.m. on a Sunday when you're making a coffee. So if you're adamant about switching off all the time, you might be missing that natural headspace that helps you resolve work issues. So I don't feel the need to have to. And when I travel or go on holiday, I will do some work, and people are always like, no, definitely shouldn't. And I think, but I like what I do. It's not causing me stress.
It is a part of you.
Yeah.
Like what you do is you, and you enjoy that. So there's no reason not to.
Yeah. So I don't have clear boundaries between the two, but they're not so blurred that I'm a workaholic. I never have been. And because I like what I do, it doesn't cause me stress to think about work out of work hours.
Hopefully it's not like urgent things that you're having to pick up outside of these working hours. Standard.
No, I don't think it is. It's finance. There's going to be some stuff occasionally, right? A VAT return that's got to go now.
Everything's urgent in finance.
If it's got a pound sign in front of it, it's going to be urgent.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, or something's gone wrong with a payment run that needs to be looked at. It's like, it depends how granular it is, but on the whole, it's not. Everything could be fixed. Yeah.
So if you could go back, let's go full back. Let's go back to 18. If you could go back to 18, would you do it all again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, wouldn't change any of it.
And then if you went back to when you've gone on your own, again, you'd do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you do it sooner?
No, wouldn't have done it a second sooner.
Yes, you've done it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't change a single day of it. I would still have started SEMA and stopped. I would still I'd still have taken jobs that I did for 7 to 9 months, and they stressed me out. I found them really unbearable. I'd still do all of that. I wouldn't change any of it. I mean, ultimately you can. So I'm not big on regret, but I just think it's all served me to get to where I am. Working for myself's been great. I would have wanted to do it sooner if I had what was I going to do working for myself? And really this whole fractional thing has come over from the States in the last sort of 5 years. And I think COVID enabled much more flexible working, has opened people's eyes up to working with people in a freelance or contractual, contractor way that didn't really exist before. So we were saying earlier, when I get to this size, I'm going to hire this. When I get to this size, I'm going to hire this. COVID wiped the floor with that. I think that still exists for more traditional businesses, but more agile businesses just think, actually, I'll probably use a freelancer for 6 months here, or maybe we'll bring someone in 2 days a week instead of 5, because everyone's, just more aware of what could change. And I think I needed that to happen to see that working in a fractional way could work for me.
To allow you to do it.
Yeah.
So then going forward then, where do you see yourself in the future?
Yeah, great. So more of the same, really enjoying what I'm doing. I work with clients on a retained basis or in project, turn up, tell them what I think they should fix, either help them fix it or set them a roadmap to fix. I want to keep doing that. I really enjoy it. And I think longer term, moving into angel investing and being part of businesses in that way, and seeing what I can offer from that perspective as well. So I don't know that I'd ever be a silent investor. That wouldn't be my dream. I definitely want to get involved in businesses, have some sense of skin in the game, and support them growing and what they want to do. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it feels like a good next step in like what I do and what I can offer.
And I mean, angel investing, I think appeals to me quite a lot. I think it's just such a
exciting
challenge.
Yeah.
Like you can come in, you can really make a difference, you can really help. It's stuff you're doing already.
It feels like it's just adds a new dynamic to it, a new sense of like investment in the business, both financially, but also if you're doing that, you're going to care in a different way. Have you been to any angel investing pitch events?
So we did the NatWest Entrepreneurs Hub.
Okay, yeah.
And in that they did like a investment pitch deck thing, and there were some investors came out, but I say not properly.
I'd really recommend it. I'd really recommend. And there must be some in Milton Keynes, if not London, obviously. Yeah. They're usually run by law firms because they will provide the sort of all of the paperwork, I suppose, for these growing businesses. I've been to a couple and they are really cool. It's just fascinating to hear these business owners, talk about their journey and their business, always interesting, but also like the new companies that are coming forward, like and that how they pitch their financials. Like I just think anyone who does finance and operations would find it fascinating. Really cool. I've seen some really cool businesses recently.
Yeah, no, I bet that's something I'm going to do. I'm going to go away and
you should have a look,
because I love like Dragon's Den and Shark Tank and all that.
It has that, far less cheesy, which is great. But I think great networking opportunities as well, just to meet people. There's so many different types of people at those events. But yeah, I went to one recently. 4 or 5 people were pitching, talking about the value of the business, the structure of the business, what they're looking to achieve, how they've got there, all completely different sectors. I learned so much. Just a really interesting evening.
Yeah. Fine. I'm sold.
Okay, I'll smile at strangers in London. You go to an angel investing event. Deal.
And we'll see how they both work out.
Yeah, nice.
See which one goes best. So at the end, we do these Stephen Bartlett Diary of CEO cards.
Oh my God.
But essentially, he has all his guests write down a question, and they're all kind of here, all their questions.
Okay.
So we're going to choose one each.
Right.
And we're going to ask each other the questions.
Great, really fair. As long as I have to do it on my own. Do you want me to do it for you?
Yeah.
Are you going to pick your own? You've got it.
No, so I've picked one for you.
Okay.
So first or second?
I like who it is though. Can I say who it is? Who wrote the question?
Yeah.
Because I really like Jay Shetty.
He's probably one of my favourite podcasters.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he? I really like Jay Shetty. Okay, nice. What is something people value that you no longer value? That's really deep. You should have known with Jay Shetty this is going to get existential.
To be fair, most of them are quite deep.
Oh, God, are they?
Yeah.
All right, Christ.
Yeah. What do I no longer value?
I mean, this isn't much of a drinking game, but...
No, it's... I mean, it gets emotional at times.
People value.
I no longer value that people value. So I would say that's the other way around. Like, it's what I value that
people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is something people value that you no longer value? That is a really hard... I don't even know how I would answer this, to be honest.
It's a really tough one. I guess the one... I'm just going to go with what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So this is probably going to come out horribly wrong and sound awful.
Great.
I'm going to say
risque.
money.
Do you know what? That's exactly what I would say.
Like, I think money is great. Like, don't get me wrong, we all need money. We all need to
Necessity.
earn enough. But I think I've got to a point where I'm like, if I earn more money, that's great, but it means working more. It means less family time, less time to see friends. So, on my original thing I was going to say is like, I value so much relationships.
Yeah.
And if any of my friends are doing anything, I'll go out of my way to see them, support them, to be there and be around. And I'd say a lot of people on that are too busy doing other things. And when you cancel plans for someone, what you're actually saying to them is, you're not important. This is more important than
My
you.
time's more important than yours.
Yeah. Which is, if that's how they want to be, that's absolutely fine. But so coming back to it, I think I've got to a point where like enough is working for me. So I'm happy with what it is, how I'm earning and stuff like that. So I think money.
I think that's right. No, it's true, because people, it's bred into us to want more. That, it's capitalism. It functions off that impulse alone. But actually, there's a threshold. You can't keep wanting more. And actually, if the trade-off is not being happy, then what is the point?
Yeah.
And no one's going to remember you for your bank balance.
No.
Unless you're Elon Musk.
But so that
it'd probably be more remembered for the other horrible shit he's done, right? So.
But equally, that was one of the things I heard the other day was, who's the most famous people in the 1700s?
Was William Shakespeare? Is he 1700s?
I have no idea.
But it would be artists, wouldn't it? Or royalty and artists.
But genuinely, we have no idea. So will Elon Musk be remembered in 100, 200 years?
Interesting. I like it.
Don't get me wrong, he's probably one of the hottest conversations right now.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't like 10, 12 years ago, though, was he? Another 10, years. 12, maybe not.
Even if you go back 10, 12 years ago, David Beckham was probably up there. Or But it almost... you quickly get forgotten about.
Zinedine Zidane, probably.
After the World Cup, absolutely.
Great, really good. So impressed.
Both agree, money.
I'm now petrified.
I'd say this is quite nice.
Can you tell me who first?
Israel Adesanya.
No idea.
Which I think he's a fighter, MMA fighter.
Golly, okay.
How are you truly feeling?
Like right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I can answer this because it's pretty much always the same. Content. I really value contentment. So like I really value consistent feelings, and I think I'm really grateful for what I have around me. So like one of my favourite things is my coffee outside first thing in the morning. Love it. Really enjoy it. Just step out from my living room, nice coffee outside, really good feeling of contentment.
You don't do this grounding, do you?
What do you mean?
So there's a huge thing about having that coffee outside and bare feet and feeling the ground underneath you.
I don't have bare feet because I have gravel. That would be unbearable.
Right.
So no, I don't do that. I mean, I'm partial to yoga. Like, sure, that plays into some of like how I could think or feel. But generally, I feel content. And that is not to sound unambitious or meek or meh about anything. Quite the opposite. Like, content in my friendships, content with family, content with work, content and that's even with periods of stress or whatever in and around that. I'm content about that. Sometimes work will be challenging, sometimes it won't be. Great. Sometimes relationships are hard, sometimes they're not. Great. And I think it's just remaining level and content in how I am with stuff.
I'd say that definitely comes across. Like
cool.
You seem very content as a person. So
nice, that's good.
One last question then.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about at the moment?
Most excited about at the moment. Maybe that's a flaw of contentment. You never truly feel excited. No, I don't know. I mean, what, professionally, personally, anything.
Whatever it is most exciting.
Okay, yeah. I'm going away at the end of the year. I've got two older sisters that live in Australia, and I'm going to spend Christmas with them.
Oh, wow.
And I've never done that before. I've been obviously to visit them. And then I'm going to do a bit of a solo trip on the way back via Vietnam. So that's taking up quite a lot of mental real estate, planning, doing that at the moment. Getting to have one Christmas with my big sisters is going to be lovely because we haven't done that a lot.
So you're the youngest?
I'm the baby, yeah. They're 9 years older as well, and they're identical twins.
Okay.
And they've got kids, so it'll be really like very fun Christmas in the heat. Yeah, it'd be really nice. So I'm really looking forward to that.
It's their summer.
It's their summer.
Yeah.
It'll be roasting hot. Yeah, so that'll be fun. And one of them's been there 18 years and I haven't done Christmas. So that's going to be really special to do that. They quite often come back for Christmas. So it'd be really nice to share that with them and really exciting to plan a bit of a trip in Asia as well.
So is it all of Asia or just Vietnam?
No, just Vietnam. Yeah, just Vietnam. Yeah, why not? I think is where I got to. They live in Perth, so flying back, I didn't want to go as close as Bali. I wanted to go a bit further. I've been to Thailand. I felt like Vietnam would be a fun option. Yeah.
Why not? Yeah.
So yeah, that's the most exciting thing. And because I have that in my sights, that's December. I've got like a really nice solid few months to focus on work, clients, and knowing I get that payoff at the end of the year, which I feel is a good balance. You've got to have it.
I completely agree. Like, I'm a huge fan of holidays. I used to go on like, a few city breaks a year when I was employed. I then started up on my own and barely went on holiday because that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I've now started to kind of go, right, no, we need to... Everything we do, like, I try and value is experience, it's valuing days out and events and stuff like that. And then stop doing it myself. So, like, I say it to the staff, like, you know, you need to go on holiday. You need a day off for your birthday, go and celebrate it, go and enjoy it. You need to do this.
And then you don't.
No, I don't do it.
It's hard to take your own advice though, isn't it?
It's easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, classic.
So yeah, I absolutely love holidays, and I think the reset you get from it, the headspace you get.
Incredible, isn't it?
Like you said, even though you're not working, you're still thinking about stuff because it's exciting. It's
of course. And it gives you true, actual space to do it. It's almost like that absence makes the heart grow fonder. You have that with work stuff. Like, you're not in the office, you're not in your space, so you're not immediately diving into your to-do list, your client time. You're somewhere else. Ideas are coming. Maybe you're reading a book that's connecting you back to something. It just, it gives you a completely different perspective on stuff, doesn't it?
Another cliche, but it's that working on the business, not in the business. When you're in it every day, you're just functioning.
And physically in it as well. You're physically in the office. It is impossible, I believe, to think about working on it. Like, you have your team around you, you need to get going, you need to like just start. Even if you came in with the best of intentions of just thinking about bigger picture stuff for the day, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, exactly that. Okay, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
It's been good fun.
Yeah, thank you. That was fun.